It's my favorite holiday of the week, Drama Wednesdays. So Bungie's been putting out a few articles about what's going on going forward with the newer year of Destiny. That's not this coming year, but the more calendar year in Destiny. And this one's about raids and dungeons. And basically, the short and long of it is that we are going to be short one raid and one dungeon a year, which is unfortunate, but that whole promise they had of the 30th anniversary going forward, a dungeon or a raid added in every season, is, I don't know if, not, I don't want to say it was unrealistic, but, there's only a certain amount they could really do, especially when, they started changing up the whole system with the episodes where it's like, okay, if there's Dungeon Pass holds 2 dungeons, but we have 3 episodes, and you got to raid a dungeon, and then a raid should be next, but where are you going to put that second dungeon? I think that's kind of where things are starting to get a bit shaky. There's also that whole thing with Wrath of the Machine should have been in the game if they were really going to play in it, and there was always conversation of leaks or whatever where people are saying it's too hard for them to bring the Devils into Destiny 2 since they don't really have an equivalent. I mean, the Fallen are similar, but the Siva Splicer Devils move, they do a whole bunch of other things that aren't really the same. I think the only one you could really argue is the Servitors, where they just had to try. They might have done something, I don't remember. Regardless, I think it is also, and also because it would be a free piece of content, I think it might be one of those cost things where it's like, well, do we really put this much time and energy into something that's just going to be a one-time or free thing? So that's plausible. But as far as other new stuff goes, they talk about how the first expansion here is going to have the raid, and there's going to be the various challenge modifier things. That's kind of the whole theme with this new Frontier stuff, where there's going to be like, pick your own modifiers to enhance the experience and up the loot gains. So, they say with higher rewards and feats and things like that. It also seems like with the first raid in this new system, the contest mode or day one raid might be on some special challenge thing. Like basically if you did, if Spire of Stars, what do you call it? Prestige leak with had the loadout lock, and that was your, day one experience. That might be something like that. I'm just using an example. I don't know what it is, and I don't think anyone can exactly say, but it could be interesting. And then new dungeons, similar situation, and they say there will not be a separate dungeon key, which kind of alludes that, hey, they're shortening this by 1, which again, it's kind of, imagine that price is built into how these are going to be separate expansions in this year. And then they had something, they talk about Pantheon and possibly revitalizing old legacy dungeons, and you know what, that's a bit more doable, I imagine. Like if they just dropped you into I don't know, the final boss of Scourge of the Past, that's probably a smaller thing to port over than the entire raid, and that's that I understand. So yeah, as far as controversy goes, I can understand people being upset about less end game rating content for the year. However, I do get that with this whole modifier system and sort of pick your own adventure flavor stuff, that kind of adds some replayability. You can have more fun, and I think to myself, I have those runs of raids where it's like, I really am just so bored of this raid. I'm tired of running the same weapons. I'm tired of running the same loadouts, and it's like, if I can add something else to keep me on my toes, that's kind of interesting. I also understand people that aren't interested into any of that, and if they're just in it to do a raid and do something, yeah, that kind of is a bit annoying. But yeah, I think, this isn't really that much of a departure from what we've seen before. So, if you still have an interest with Destiny, I don't think really much is changing around. It might jump out more at you if you enjoy the end game content. And if not, I mean, you're kind of in it for love of the game at this point. The game is old. I don't think we're getting ship battles, dating sim, tower defense, city builder, 4X game in Destiny anytime soon. So you know, you kind of really are just taking what you get. And if it doesn't jump out at you, hey, that's cool. If you're into it, I'm sure there might be something you find interesting. Tell me what you think.